because we are flesh and blood. Once I avail myself constantly to the near occasion of evil, I am going to sin. That's why when I go to confession, I ask God, okay, that I resolve not to sin anymore and to give me the grace. That's what we are asking. Give me the grace to avoid the near occasion of evil. Because I am weak. The spirit may be willing, but the flesh is weak. So we are not stones. We are flesh and blood. The flesh is weak. So we must avoid the near occasion of evil. Because sometimes it's just something that sparks, the mind, okay, our weaknesses. If you have a weakness, let's say with gambling, what sparks it? Like if you're driving on Lake Mead, you see the Fiesta this week, okay? You can win, the total you have to win this week is $2 million in different games. You can be part of that. And you see that thing, you are at that traffic light and you see it, okay? Eventually you're going to be tempted that maybe I will be a winner because you have a problem and the thing is right there, okay? So don't go around there if you don't have to. Because you will see those big whatever, okay? And it's going to lure you into it. That's the nature of evil. Or a gambler deceiving himself or herself that today I'm going to go to the fiesta, but I'm just going to the restaurant. But how do you get to the restaurant? Those people are not stupid. They know. Okay? So, by the way, these are the way Las Vegas is built up. Not everything, but most of the things, it basically plays on concupiscence. Okay? The flesh is weak. That's the trademark of this city, at least the street. The flesh is weak. And the psychologists who help them to design these things know it. That once you are lured into that environment, it's most likely that you're going to do what they want you to do. You can't resist because you have put yourself into the near occasion of whatever it is. Okay? So we must know ourselves that we are flesh and blood. So concupiscence is strong and persistent. Okay? The fallen creature's perception of spiritual values is dim because of concupiscence. Okay? Intellect is darkened, the will is weakened. Not totally destroyed, okay? But darkened and basically weakened. That's what we mean by dim. Okay? Our perception of spiritual values is dim. His or her attraction to virtue feeble. One's will to resist temptation weak. Under the pressure of persistent temptation, one's attention begins to flag. However, one's resolve grows weak. One wearies of the struggle, and finally one gives in. That is the story of our life without the grace of God. No one should ever lie to you that for me I'm strong naturally. I can resist these things. This is the story of humanity because all of us have been affected by original sin. If you ever hear someone, maybe a man can't say it, if you ever hear someone, a woman who says that naturally I'm strong, I don't sin naturally, then you have to tell her that, well, right now I have an apparition, you are the Virgin Mary. Okay, otherwise, all of us have concupiscence except Mary, the Mother of God, who was conceived without original sin. Okay? The rest of us have been affected by original sin. And so this is our story without the grace of the Holy Spirit. But with the grace of the Holy Spirit, we can overcome all this. But it's not our powers, it is the power of God. So what God is asking of me and you is simply to cooperate with His grace, what we call obedience. So our role is obedience. So God is the one who is leading and directing the journey, the process of salvation, and he's asking us to be involved, and our involvement is obedience. To do what he tells us as he leads and guides us to salvation. But as you know, our greatest difficulty problem is obedience. We don't want to obey. We want to do it our way. God may tell us this, but we have suggestions. God may be, okay? But what if, because we are disobedient? Okay? That's the devil's way. So he always tricks us into disobedience. Okay? And disobedience is what prevents our salvation. Okay? Now, can a justified person persevere in the state of grace for a long period of time without God's special grace? In other words, his final perseverance is special grace. So let's take a break and we'll look at that.
John the Baptist.
Yes.
What was his state of grace? Because if I remember correctly, I thought I could say that grace or somebody said
You're telling me that it's you told you.
But I got the impression, stuck in my mind, they said that only Jesus was without sin. And also he was connected with without sin as well. But somebody also given that John the Baptist. And so I'm wondering that.
Probably what they said was this, okay? That it's only Mary, the mother of God, who is conceived without original sin in our human race. It's only one person, Mary. But what they were trying to say is a traditional basically church teaching that